I particularly want to speak on behalf of Carl McCall, who is out of the country, otherwise I think would likely have been here as well, to say how important the Student Assembly is, how important student participation in the governance process is, and how important shared governance is to all of us. So while our task is to bring you into the leadership of Student Assembly, the leadership on the Board of Trustees is really important as well. Let me tell you a little bit about Kevin. He received his bachelor's degree at SUNY Maritime and couldn't get enough of that, so now in the graduate program on International Transportation Management. So this is the second year where the president of Student Assembly is a graduate student, and I think what you and Caitlin have done to bring the graduate students into the life of student governance is really, really important. Kevin was Student Assembly Vice President last year, so I met with Kevin when I met with the Executive Committee of Student Assembly, and I hope we can do that again this year. I think it's a productive way to advance the conversation. A student senator at Maritime and on a number of committees there, president of the Maritime chapter of Omicron Delta Kappa, a national leadership fraternity, and the first Maritime student ever to hold the position President of Student Assembly. So we are getting the full package here, and it is now my great privilege to let the ceremony begin, and I'll call on Bill and Marty to come forward, and Kevin Ray, will you come forward as well? So Bill, how should we do this?
Yes. All right, Kevin, welcome. Please raise your right hand. This is to take the oath of office. Repeat after me. I do solemnly swear or affirm
I do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office
of ex officio student member of the Board of Trustees of the State University of New York,
of ex officio
member
member
of the Board of
of the
Trustees.
Board of Trustees of the State University of New York.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. I wanted to start by thanking Chancellor Zimper, who's been a great partner for the Student Assembly, and I'm sure she'll continue to do so, if not more. I appreciate her leadership and as someone to look up to and admire as I've grown as a student leader. Provost LaValle, thank you. Dr. Engelbride, who I know has helped me. Marcia, Lisa, Carrie Ann. I wanted to give you a little brief summary about myself, although it was already done. I am a graduate of Maritime. I'll be there for a 5th year. I love it so much. I am going to be a grad student, and I was vice president last year. And I wanted to just basically gloss over some of the things I'd like to do this next year. As part of the process of being vice president is you do whatever the president says. And with that, I was appointed to the SUNY and the World Committee headed by Dr. Mitch Leventhal in New York City at SUNY Global. One of my big initiatives as president will be helping push the internationalization of the State University of New York. I've already spoken to Dr. Leventhal about that on several areas, and that's going to be a major initiative of my administration. The second one, as being from a school where 35% of the students, my colleagues, are going into the military, Veterans Affairs is very important. So I've already spoken with Associate Director Quick, who will be, I have been the first president to appoint a Director of Veterans Affairs, who will help do what they can to streamline the process for our heroes returning home. Another thing, I was speaking just a brief time ago with Vice Chancellor Duncan Portier, who is the Vice Chancellor for Community Colleges, about big community college initiatives. Just because I didn't come from one doesn't mean that I'm not a big supporter of them. And I do want to give a special shout out to Vice Chancellor Duncan Portier, because she was the first person who called that I would become president. Well, last year at the swearing in, when she approached me and she said, I told her this story, and she went to me and she goes, "Oh, you're Kevin Ray, you're the vice president." And I said, "Yes." And I thought about being vice president for 2 years, settling back, taking a nice, running conferences. And she looks at me and she goes, "Oh, so you're next." And I remember thinking, yeah, okay, lady, I'm not gonna do that. Not gonna happen. And as you can see, it's a little bit of a different situation now. I definitely look forward to working with the State University of New York. I believe it is the premier institution in the world, and I believe that we will continue to produce the best students. And I believe that we have the skill sets and what we've been given by the state of New York with great partners like Governor Cuomo. You have Speaker Sheldon Silver and Majority Leader Dean Skelos, people who are big power players and big, as it seems right now, SUNY supporters. And I'm looking forward to using my talents and my abilities to be able to advance the student's voice in all offices across Albany, the United States, and the world. As we strive towards these goals, I look forward to working with all of you, meeting all of you. Hopefully you won't get tired of my voice by next June 1. But as I said, I am somebody that is going to be a very willing partner, someone who's very willing to learn. And if you want student outreach, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, because I'd love to continue the trajectory that Chancellor Zimfer has started with getting students involved in everything. I think too often we hear people complain, sometimes not at SUNY, but other times, about student rabble-rousing. You see in Montreal, you see other places, students causing trouble and not being a part of the solution. And I've never heard people until Chancellor Zimfer's administration, especially Dr. Mitch Leventhal, who have gotten more upset, not about that, but about the fact that there wasn't enough of a student voice. And their priority became not just, we're serving students, but how can we get students to help themselves? I remember when Carl McCall made the point, paraphrasing, that he had said that, SUNY's here because of the students, and that's why they're here. And I think that we have an administration that I cannot wait to be a part of starting June 1st that really cares about the students. So again, thank you all for coming out this afternoon, and I look forward to serving as the president for the next year.